Why do your plants get brown leaves, and how do you fix it? But first, let's talk about why they aren't browning. The biggest myth is that the brown tips are because of chlorine in your water. And the solution to that is just to keep the water out overnight so all the chlorine sort of evaporates. But yeah, that's a total myth. Municipal water, tap water, is treated with such low levels of chlorine or chloramine that it's not going to affect your plant. However, that doesn't mean there aren't other things in municipal water that can cause those brown tips. Now, mostly what I'm talking about are salts and minerals. When there's a buildup of salts and minerals in your soil that the plant can't use, they might get those brown tips. Could also just be from really dry air. This especially happens in the winter months when we kick up the heat. Those vents blowing down all that warm air decreases the humidity and can cause those brown tips as well. In which case you might consider adding a humidifier if it bothers you. Using water that is low in these salts and minerals can definitely mitigate that problem. Something like reverse osmosis, distilled water, or rainwater works best. But maybe you've just underwatered your plant or overwatered. Either of them can be true. So when we underwater our plant, there's just not enough water in the soil for the roots to take up to disperse all the way out to the ends of the leaves, and then they get a little bit crispy. If you've overwatered your plant, you've watered too frequently and you've likely killed off some roots. And then there's just not enough roots to take up moisture to hydrate the entire leaf, and you get those brown tips. Proper watering, of course, in this case is the cure. And if you're ever curious about when or how to water your plants, I have tons of care guides on all of my social media that can help you be successful. And lastly, you might just be over-fertilizing. We also see this happen in the winter months a lot when you continue to fertilize, even though our days are getting shorter. Light is what drives all the functions of a plant. So when we have less of it, it's not able to work as long, and those salts and minerals just sort of sit in the soil and they build up, and that's when you get those brown tips as well. So make sure you're fertilizing at the recommended times and doses. The easiest way to avoid brown tips on your houseplants and never worry about them again is to move farther away from them. Look, is this plant beautiful? Yes. Do you see any brown tips? No. Hopefully these tips helped, and I really, really hope that you just enjoy your plants in whatever stage they're in. Brown tips and all.